Hello everybody. You're not going to believe this, but I just finished a 1-hour video and my tablet turned off. And I can't re-record, I can't add to my recordings. I cannot find how to do that. So I have to reshoot this entire video again. And so, it's going to be quicker and shorter. So, I'm going to condense a lot of things. Basically, the numbers I have found shows that almost 1 million people per year die through medical errors, medical mistakes on prescribing, miscommunications with prescribing, people not following the directions, or not understanding, poor communication between the doctor and patient, hospital errors, and deaths by misadventure through the medical system, from medical care, okay? From misdiagnoses to cancer treatment, okay? The cancer industry itself has killed almost 1 million people per year since 2000. It's killed over 17 million people. Chemotherapy and radiation themselves can be fixed by cannabis. Okay? Like I told you, my Debbie's friend back east, ovarian cancer. Her doctors probably still doesn't know she's taking the hemp oil, because it doesn't matter. It's not going to come out in a pee test. It has nothing to do with that. I'll get back inside here, so you better not shut off on me again. But I'm just going to talk about, it's outrageous, the amount of numbers that we see going on of deaths by, drugs alone cause more deaths than guns and cars put together. Let me go back to, here's the top 10 deaths. Nearly stats, 100,000 people annually die from prescription drugs. And that's not all misuse. It's like I said, misinformation between you and the doctor. Okay? Prescribing information being unclear. You know, people looking at a bottle of aspirin and says analgesic, so they're sticking it up their butt. It's not analgesic, it's not analgesic, it's an analgesic. It's an old joke anyway. I'm talking to Mr. President here. Mr. President Trump, number 45. I voted for you. I've got a page dedicated to you, and I hope you listen to some of these facts. Nearly 75% of all deaths in the United States are attributed to just 10 causes. And the top 3 altogether account for 50% of those deaths. And these numbers have stayed consistent for over 5 years. By 2014, there were 2.6 million registered deaths, which equates to, with an age-adjusted rate that accounts for the aging populace of 823.7 deaths per 100,000, with a life expectancy of around 78.8 years. Now, all the numbers I give you are, when I say the rate, is per 100,000 people. So, number 1 with a bullet, heart disease. Almost 1 in 4 deaths, with men more than women. 614,348, with 192.7 per 100,000, age adjusted at 167 per 100,000, with a total percentage of 23.4. Almost 1/4 of all deaths is heart disease. Cancer. Malignant neoplasms, 560,000, 185.6 for rate, Age adjusted 161, 22.5%. Right there. It's almost 50% in just the first two. And in these cancers, men is lung cancer 86,000, prostate 26, colorectal 26. Women's is lung and bronchial problems 72,000, breast 40,000, colorectal 23,000. Now, number 3, chronic lower respiratory disease, tuberculosis, emphysema, total 150,000, 46.1. This brings it up to just over 50% of all deaths with heart disease, cancer, and chronic respiratory diseases. Number 4, accidents, is only 42.7 per 100,000 people. Stroke, only 11.7, 5% total. Alzheimer's disease kills 93,000 people, with 29.3 per 100,000. Hyperglycemia, diabetes mellitus, kills 76,000 people annually at a rate of 24 per 100,000. Flu and pneumonia, almost 56,000. Kidney disease, nephritis, nephrotic syndrome, nephrosis, 48,000, 1.8%. Intentional self-harm, suicides, is 1.6%, almost 43,000. Now, as many as 20% of lung cancer deaths are from never smokers, not non-smokers, never smokers, they call it. People that have never touched a cigarette in their life. And have not been exposed to secondhand smoke. Now, secondhand smoke does account for some. As close as they can say. You can't always prove that just because you lived in a house with somebody smoking that you've got lung cancer because of secondhand smoke. You can't prove it. And like I said, if almost 1/4 of deaths come from non-smoking, it tells me that cigarettes is not that big of a cause. And the leading cause of death for the non-smokers is radon gas exposure of 7,300 deaths annually. Carcinogens abound, GMOs, air pollution, gene mutations. Let's see. So, here's a long list of a bunch of numbers. It really just repeats. Legal and illegal drugs total almost 50,000. Okay, this is from when? These are from 2014 to now. 50,000 people, legal and illegal drugs. 42,000 suicides. That's almost as much as the drug abuse deaths. I mean, think about it. Septicemia, mostly surgical induced, almost 40,000. Cirrhosis, liver disease, 38. Alcoholic liver disease, 20,000. Firearms is only 33,000. Alcohol induced, 30,000. Parkinson's, 26,000. Pneumonitis, 19,000. Homicide is only 15,000. Viral hepatitis, 8,000. AIDS, 6,700. All illicit drugs combined, 17,000. And then it ends with cannabis, 0. Big Pharma's chemical warfare on humanity. PharmaDeathClock.com. It keeps a continuous total of every time there's a reported death through something. This is the Pharma Death Clock as people die from pharmaceuticals. Chemotherapy alone since 2000, we're talking 17 years, 17.4 million people. 1 million people per year die through chemotherapy use. Iatrogenic deaths, which is basically medical errors, almost 14,000. Hospital errors, 14 million, Hospital errors, 8 million. Drug-resistant tuberculosis, 3.7. Hospital malnutrition, 1.9 million people. Adverse drug reactions, right behind it at 1.84. Medical error, 1.7 million. Hospital infections, 1.3 million. Now, surgery-related, 500,000. Now take chemotherapy of 17 million, iatrogenics, 14 million, okay, 28 million. Hospital errors is another 8, 36 million. Hospital malnutrition, 2 million, 38 million. Medical error, 1.7, 33, 34, almost 35 million deaths are through chemotherapy, medical mistakes, errors, surgical errors, surgery-related. SSRIs, almost 700,000 people have died since 2000. Guess what takes the place of SSRIs? Selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors. Marijuana. Surgery-related, almost 600,000. Superbugs, 400,000. Prescription drugs is just 4,000 behind that. Drug-resistant streptococcus, 382. NSAIDs, that's from aspirin to Lyrica and Humira. Almost 300,000 deaths from NSAIDs, many of which are over the counter. Tylenol alone counts for 17,000 deaths per year. Death by medicine. This Dr. Joseph Mercola calls Pharmageddon. He says, out of 783 annual deaths from conventional medical mistakes, 106,000 are the result of scripted drug use. That's just 1/7 of deaths from medical mistakes. 1/7. So it's not a big epidemic. And the Journal of the AMA says 290 people daily die from prescriptions. Pharmageddon is the prospect of a world in which medicines produce more ill health than health, and when medical progress does more harm than good. We've seen those things about progress. This vast rainforest. I take the picture a year later. No forest. Our oxygen comes from that rainforest. The air we breathe. Hemp breathes 4 times the surface area of trees. 1 acre of hemp is equal to 4 acres of everything else. And it makes plastics without oil base, quickly biodegradable. Plastic water bottles, Mr. President, take 450 years to decompose. When you're finished with a hemp plastic bottle, you can throw it away, and in 28 days to 32 days, it's gone. Hemp biodiesel that puts out 11% oxygen. No pollutants. Smells like French fries. I'd rather smell that walking down the street with all the cars passing. Fries, just smells like fries. Makes me want to stop at McD's all the time. Okay? And it puts out oxygen. The plant itself puts out 4 times the oxygen of anything. It's 4 times better than cotton. Cotton leaves a scorched earth. I've said this over and over again. This cotton belt. Just the Middle East and the lower states of America. Except for from like Arizona, even Texas, We've all got cotton. We're all in the cotton belt. 50% of all the pesticides in the world are sprayed on these two areas. Half of all the world's pesticides. It's being sprayed on our food crops. Monsanto. Hemp industry. 1 acre equals 2 to 3 acres of trees for fiber production alone. Hemp is longer, stronger, softer than cotton. No mildew. Cotton only grows in moderate cotton belt. 85% of the land mass in America, in the world, the land mass, 80%, 85% of that can grow hemp or marijuana. Both. All paper products can be made from hemp. Superior quality paper products that are archival. They last hundreds of years longer than tree paper. Fiberboard that's lighter, stronger than wood, pest resistant, mold, mildew, termite, pest resistant. Strong, durable plastics. 3 crops per year without having to replenish the earth because it leaves whatever leftover when you harvest the hemp and plow the ground in. Any of that leftover is fertilizer for the next hemp crop. And it now competes the weeds. When I'm going down the road, we see Pima cotton grows like 2 feet tall, but much more cotton than Egyptian cotton that grows taller that has less cotton on it. And Pima cotton comes from Pima, Arizona, Pima County, Arizona. So Pima cotton, I go down the road and I see these bushes of weeds sticking up all over through the cotton crops. Even though they're spraying herbicides, they can't kill everything. And where the plant's this tall, this stuff is taller, and it's sticking way up, and it gets into the crop. When they harvest, things get picked up and into the cotton, and when cotton gets run through its process, whatever's in there with it gets soaked into the cotton, including the pesticides, herbicides, and defoliants that are on the leaves, because not all the leaves, and when they go through, these defoliants are on the cotton too. You know, they didn't go to the leaves. That's not how it works. It lands on the whole plant. Everything. It does make the leaves fall off. It makes it easier to harvest. But defoliants are poisons. Hazardous, nasty poisons. Hemp hearts. Where is it down here? I have something about hemp seeds account for half of the weight of the mature plant, making it a valuable source of protein, GLA, and omega-3s and 6s. It produces more biomass than any plant species, including corn, and it can be grown almost anywhere. But our farmers are banned from growing hemp, even though there's millions of acres of wild growing hemp. No other plant resource offers the potential of hemp. Paper, textile, building materials, foods, medicines, paint, soaps, detergents, oils, inks, fuel, and methanol or ethanol, moderate water use, safe fertilizers, no herbs, pesticides, defoliants, housing, food, nutrition, fiber, fuel, cleans the air, cleans the groundwater. And I started going through diseases. Now I've cut this whole video in half. I'm going to get down to just a few diseases here. I left off at the M's. Major depression, malignant melanoma, mania, malariastosis, Meniere's disease, mucopolysaccharidosis, known as MPS, MRSA, multiple sclerosis, muscle spasms, muscular dystrophy. Let's hold a telethon for hemp and marijuana for hemp muscular dystrophy. Myeloid leukemia, nail patellar syndrome, nightmares, and daymares too. Obesity, Don't buy this Slim Fast crap and Jenny Craig shit. I've seen my sister get fatter on those diets. And she just gains weight and weight and weight. She just lost her gallbladder. Because she's freaking huge. But what she did, stupid. I watched it when I was working for her as a real estate agent. She would have Jenny Craig and all these other diet supplements, right? And they allow you one snack, right? Well, she would take the one snack from all of the different ones and eat them all. She was defeating the purpose. She was eating 5 times of what they were trying to diet her on. So she kept getting huger and huger. And she's lost her gallbladder now because of it. She's been heavy all our lives. She was heavy starting at birth. I take after my mom. She took after dad. I'm light, small, skinny, thin-boned, fine-boned. Let me get back here. Nightmares and daymares. Obesity. Obsessive-compulsive disorder. Opiate dependency. Osteoarthritis. Panic disorder. Parkinson's disease. Peripheral neuropathy. Peritoneal pain. Persistent insomnia. Post-traumatic arthritis. Post-traumatic stress syndrome. Premenstrual syndrome. Ladies. Prostatitis. Gentlemen. Psoriasis. For all of us. Psoriasis, eczema, anything on the skin, hemp roots. Trust me, hemp roots. Pulmonary fibrosis and quadriplegia. I'm going to leave off at quadriplegia today. My next video will go to the R's. But now, just the basic. I'm addressing the President Trump, Mr. 45. Boom, how you doing, Mr. Sink? Arizona Rick here. I am at the forefront of the medical marijuana legalization movement. I do everything legally. I keep everything legal and above board in my groups. And I explain the facts and the scientific evidence that everything that can be cured with cannabis can. And anything that can be cured with hemp can. And hemp industry is a multi-trillion-dollar crop. It adds to the job market. It puts farmers back to work farming their fields that have been vacant because they've been banned from growing certain things because we've got a glut of. We have an abundance of wheat and corn. Hemp biomass is more biomass than corn. You use the entire plant, root tip to leaf tip. Okay? And these things grow to 8 to 12 feet tall. Thick, with nice woody inner herd that's perfect. Premium archival quality, naturally bleached white, or unbleached, naturally unbleached white paper. Safest medicines, animal feed, the protein, the biomass, the medicines, the fuel, the food. It's ridiculous for us to maintain a prohibition on these plants. Forget cannabis right now. Mr. President, go to hemp. Industrial hemp creates jobs. Construction workers need to build factories. Farmers have to get equipment. They have to plant. They have to harvest, store, process. Okay? Get the hemp seeds. Hemp heart's perfect food. The perfect food. Okay? The perfect protein. GLA, omega-3s and 6s. It's excellent. I don't answer the house phone. Whenever it comes down to is hemp can save this planet. It saves trees. It'll save the environment. It'll save polluting the atmosphere. We can replace a lot of oil-based plastics and fossil fuels for power and use hemp. You can make hemp into wood pellets, like wood pellet burning stoves. You can make hemp into those pellets too. It burn just as well. Does just the same job. Hemp does not get anybody high. It's weed, pest, rotten, mildew resistant, just as like cannabis. They're sisters. They share a hydrocarbon profile. But one gets you high, one doesn't. But they'll both heal you. And they heal the earth. Even leftover marijuana stems can be plowed under as fertilizer for the next crop. And marijuana roots also can be used as eczema and psoriasis. So, Mr. President, hempcrete, unslaked lime and water and hemp makes concrete that you can manufacture your wall. Start planting the hemp now. 3 crops per year, because it's 120 days turnaround. You don't have to replant other things to replenish the earth like you have to do to cotton. Cotton grows twice. You have to replace it with Milo or a feed product for the animals. And it's getting to the animals' feed. All that shit they put on the cotton is getting into the animal feed that they're planting to replenish the soil from the poisoned earth from the cotton. Isn't that the definition of insanity? Is just going around and around and around in a big old frickin' circle jerk. And it's stupid. It's ignorant. And it started with Harry Anslinger in 1937. And whoever was in charge of the DEA in 1969 when Timothy Leary got the justices of the Supreme Court to overturn and the DEA came out with a schedule of narcotics in answer to that and screwed us over for medicinal cannabis again. Medicinal cannabis, hemp medicines, and hemp industry saves this planet. And to continue to ignore it is to do a disservice to the people and this little blue ball that we're spinning around on. Because guess what? We have no other place to go. And any other place we go, in all known surveyed worlds, there ain't no frickin' trees. Okay? Where are you going to get the oxygen? Where are you going to get the atmosphere? This is it. Okay? Until we discover another Earth, okay, that's already set up and made and gone as far as we have, except for maybe people, then we can populate. Okay? But there's none within light years of us, so we have to learn to do light speed. Okay? Before all that hell happened. And I don't foresee that happening. Medicinal cannabis, medicinal hemp, hemp-based industry, millions and trillions of dollars in revenue for everybody. Open the federal banking system for the dispensaries, okay? Because the states have allowed it. That money is there for the states. And the government can get 1 or 2%. And be happy they're getting something just by letting them use the banks. Because these people don't know I don't know where they put their money. I don't know how big their floor safes are. I don't know, I'm sure they're armed when they, when they're leaving. I bet they're secure and protected. Because it's a high volume, high dollar, almost all cash business. They do take debit cards, not credit. Debit. You gotta make sure you have the money. But it's untapped potential, Mr. President. The untapped potential to save millions of lives per year. Okay, 17 million just from chemotherapy. In 17 years, 1 million people per year died from chemotherapy. And at the rate of 70%, 17 million people who did not use chemotherapy lived longer, better lives. Okay, Debbie's friend back east got the ovarian cancer. Okay, she's fighting it, it's gone, it's not recurring. The tumor's boom, 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 boom. Doctors are amazed. She's regained her weight and appetite. That's a success story. Debbie herself, 18 months, no diagnosis, 4 days on the mushroom powder and CBD blend. 4 days. Fixed, whatever it was. Me. I may have had hepatitis, but I don't. When they went for the genotype, no hepatitis was found at all. And I was checked. I never had my lower lung CT'd in a long, long time. So I could have had emphysema for a long time. In fact, it could have been part of the COPD and chronic bronchitis I used to suffer from. But I'm breathing better with cannabis. And you can't deny it. I'm the guinea pig. And I am doing the proof. I am proof that opiates and marijuana go together very well. Because weed attenuates the symptoms of addiction. So I don't feel addicted. I never feel the want or need to take a morphine, like I gotta have a morphine, I gotta have a morphine. No, I feel pain. As I've said before, 10-10 pain. Right now, I took a morphine before I started shooting the other video. It's been an hour, so I'm now down to about a 5. But I started as a 7 when I did the other video an hour ago. But now I'm down to a 5. And 4-5 is my bottom. And that's because the morphine's working. And my vape. So, Mr. President, and everybody else out there, wherever this goes, those who can listen, those who can take action, listen, please. Take that action. Grow industrial hemp. Put farmers to work. Open up new industries. Open up new businesses. Become less and less OPEC independent. Save the trees. Save the rainforests. Wipe your asses with hemp. From root to leaf tip. There's not a part of the hemp plant wasted. Okay? Trees. There's a lot of waste. The bark. Okay? It doesn't all make it to the Lowe's Hardware or something, you know, where they got the bags of tree bark that you use for water retention in the soil, in plant beds. You know, they use tree bark. But a lot of wood is wasted. Okay, we used to get this really good cedar sawdust, but we had to buy it, and it was like $15 for a huge 50-pound sack. But it was almost $40 shipping. But it was $50 and it was worth it to get this stuff shipped here. We just can't find it here. And they don't mail it out anymore. But it was cedar sawdust, and it worked as a beautiful cat litter. It kept the odor down. It was perfectly easy to clean. It was just like the lumping cat litters that you're paying out the ass for. And it lasted a long time. So it was worth it to buy it through the mail. Now, Debbie's been trying new, different ones, cat litters, and we just not finding anything that matches up to that Cedarific, is what it was called. Cedarific. And it was terrific. Hemp. Hemp will make cat litter. Biodegradable plastics. Animal food, animal bedding. Human vegetables. It's a vegetable. Cannabis is. Hemp is. Both of them. And you can eat cannabis leaves because the THC will not react without 175 degrees. So you can get the THC in your body, it will go to useful places, and it will put itself to use without getting you high. Everybody's just got to get over it, get off the soapboxes, and deal with the fact that cannabis and hemp are here to stay. They've been here since before people. We fit these plants like a lock and key, or 2 puzzle pieces, 3 puzzle pieces. Humans and hemp, we fit together into a perfect picture of health, homeostasis. Okay? So Mr. President, everybody else out there who has some kind of political pull, and those who don't, share my videos to those who do. Tag your local representatives. You know, if your state doesn't have medical marijuana, tag them with this video. Medical marijuana is the best thing you can do for your citizens. You'll see alcohol reduced, okay? You know, domestic violence reduced due to alcohol. Everybody will be stoned and happy. Okay? Less traffic accidents, alcohol induced. It's just all around the best medicine we could use. And it's medicine for the earth as well as the human body. And cannabis itself is a very perfect medicine for the human body itself. And it cures everything. Malignant cancers, metastatic cancers. It attacks them, and it surrounds the good tissue, it protects it, and kills off the old. Kills off the cancerous. You can't beat that, sirs and ma'ams. You can't. So please, let's get the anti-weed Nazis off this soapbox. Don't pay attention to the super stoner counterculture. Listen to the patients like me in the middle here that are saying we need medical marijuana. And those of us who need opiates do not deserve to be treated like addicts. Okay? We're not. We're patients. Patients, not addicts. Hugs, not drugs. All those hashtags and stuff. Peace out, everybody. Mr. President, free marijuana from the prison of ignorance. Thank you, everybody.